Tea, Taxes, and Trouble. The American Revolution. Hold on to your tricorn hats, folks, because here on the eve of 4th of July, we are about to embark on a truly revolutionary journey. More than just a tea party. All right, history buffs, armchair generals, and anyone else who's ever wondered why Americans are so freaking obsessed with freedom, gather round, because we are about to embark on a grand expedition into the past, exploring the dramatic, chaotic, and ultimately triumphant story of the American Revolution. Forget those dry textbook accounts. We're going for a full sensory experience, complete with vivid descriptions, witty asides from yours truly, and enough historical intrigue to make your head spin faster than a colonial printing press. Part 1. Seeds of Rebellion, and they weren't planted in a tea chest. Our story begins not with a bang, but with a whimper, or more accurately, with a grumble. The year is 1763, and the British Empire, fresh off of a victory in the 7 Years' War, known to us American traders as the French and Indian War, finds itself with a rather large problem, and that is what she said. A mountain of debt. Now, old King George III, bless his cotton socks, decides that the American colonists who benefited from the British protection during the war should chip in to help pay off those debts. Seems kind of reasonable, right? Well, not to the colonists. They had grown accustomed to a certain level of self-government, and the idea of being taxed without representation, it didn't sit well with any of them. Imagine being told that you have to pay for a pizza that you didn't order, and you'll start to get the picture. Here's a little historical tidbit for you. The 7 Years' War was a global conflict that involved major European powers. It was fought in Europe, North America, the Caribbean, India, and even the Philippines. So, while the American Revolution was brewing, the world was a pretty chaotic place. The first of these unjust taxes was the Sugar Act of 1764, which placed duties on sugar, molasses, and other goods imported from the West Indies. This was followed by the Stamp Act of 1765, which required colonists to purchase special stamped paper for all sorts of legal documents, newspapers, pamphlets, even playing cards. I mean, can you imagine having to pay extra just to play a game of solitaire? Talk about a buzzkill, George. Not cool. Here's a little fun fact. The Stamp Act was so unpopular that it led to widespread protests and boycotts. Some colonists even resorted to making their own paper and ink to avoid paying the tax. It was like an 18th century version of a DIY protest. That's kind of cool. The colonists' resistance to these taxes wasn't just about money. It was about principle. They felt they were being treated as second-class citizens, denied the rights and freedoms enjoyed by their British counterparts. As the famous slogan goes, no taxation without representation. Side note, the phrase no taxation without representation became a rallying cry for the colonists. It was a simple yet powerful message that resonated with the people from all walks of life. It's also a good reminder that even the most complex political issues can often be boiled down to a few catchy words. Part 2. The flames of revolution ignite. And it's not just the tea. As tensions escalated, the British government responded with more acts, like the Townshend Act of 1767, which imposed duties on tea, glass, lead, and other imported goods. These acts further inflamed colonial anger, leading to more protests, boycotts, and even acts of defiance. Here, for some historical context, the British government's actions were not entirely unreasonable. They had incurred significant debts defending the colonies, and they felt that the colonists should contribute to the cost of their own defense, which, I hate to say it, kind of makes sense. However, the way they went about it was very clumsy and absolutely insensitive, and it ultimately backfired spectacularly. One of the most dramatic acts of defiance was the Boston Tea Party of 1773. This wasn't just a random act of vandalism. Oh no, it was a carefully planned and executed protest against the Tea Act, which gave the British East India Company a monopoly on tea sales in the colonies. Imagine this, Rat Pack. A group of colonists disguised as Mohawk Indians, because hey, who doesn't love a good disguise? Board British ships under the cover of darkness. They're not there for a cup-up. Oh no, they are there to make a statement. With a mix of determination and mischief, they proceed to dump 342 chests of tea into Boston Harbor, turning the water into a giant, unsweetened iced tea. Talk about a party foul. Oh yeah, because down here in Texas, we don't do unsweet tea. It's sweet tea or nothing. The British response to the Boston Tea Party was swift and harsh. They passed the Intolerable Acts, which closed the port of Boston, restricted colonial self-government, and allowed British troops to be quartered in private homes. These acts were like throwing gasoline on an already smoldering fire. Just a little side note, the Intolerable Acts were also known as the Coercive Acts, but let's be honest, intolerable sounds way more dramatic, and it certainly captures how the colonists felt about them. Allegedly. By this point, it was clear that the conflict was escalating beyond mere protest and boycotts. The colonists were beginning to organize and arm themselves, preparing for the possibility of war. Here's a little historical insight. The American Revolution wasn't just a spontaneous uprising. It was the culmination of years of growing discontent and resentment. The colonists had developed a strong sense of identity and self-government, and they were not willing to give that up without a fight. Part 3. Founding Fathers and Fiery Battles, where liberty was won, one musket ball at a time. As the colonies edged closer to war, a group of extraordinary individuals emerged to lead the charge. These were the Founding Fathers, men of vision, courage, and unwavering commitment to the cause of liberty. George Washington, the stoic Virginian planter, was chosen as commander-in-chief of the Continental Army. He was a man of few words, but his leadership and determination inspired his troops. Benjamin Franklin, the witty inventor and diplomat, was sent to France to seek support for the American cause. His charm and intelligence proved invaluable in securing French aid. Thomas Jefferson, the eloquent writer and philosopher, penned the Declaration of Independence, a document that would inspire generations to come. The First Continental Congress, held in 1774, was a gathering of delegates from the colonies who met to discuss their grievances and plan their next move. The Second Continental Congress, held in 1775, took things a step further, declaring independence from Britain and officially launching the American Revolution. The signing of the Declaration of Independence on July 4, 1776, was a pivotal moment in American history. It marked the birth of a new nation, founded on the principles of liberty, equality, and self-government. The war itself was a long and arduous struggle, filled with both triumphs and setbacks. The Battle of Lexington and Concord, the shot heard around the world, marked the beginning of armed conflict. The Battle of Bunker Hill, though a British victory, proved that the colonists could hold their own against a professional army. The harsh winter at Valley Forge tested the resilience of the Continental Army, but Washington's leadership and the soldiers' unwavering commitment kept the Revolution alive. The Battle of Saratoga in 1777 was a turning point in the war. The American victory convinced France to officially join the fight, providing crucial military and financial support. The Battle of Yorktown in 1781 was a decisive battle of the war. With the help of the French, the Continental Army trapped the British forces, forcing General Cornwallis to surrender. Here's a little fun fact. During the Battle of Trenton, Washington's troops crossed the Delaware River on Christmas night, surprising the Hessian mercenaries and securing a much-needed victory. It was a daring move that boosted morale and demonstrated Washington's tactical brilliance. The American Revolution was not just a war for independence. It was a war for ideas. The colonists were fighting for the right to govern themselves, to be free from tyranny, and to create a society based on the principles of liberty and equality. The American Revolution was heavily influenced by Enlightenment ideas, particularly the writings of John Locke. Locke argued that all individuals have natural rights, including the right to life, liberty, and property. These ideas were central to the colonist cause and would later be enshrined in the Declaration of Independence. Part 4. A New Nation Forged, and it wasn't made of tea and crumpets. After 8 long years of war, the Treaty of Paris was signed in 1783, officially recognizing the independence of the United States of America. It was a momentous occasion, a victory against all odds. The American colonies had transformed into a sovereign nation, a beacon of hope for those yearning for freedom and self-determination. The American Revolution was not just a local conflict. It had global implications. It inspired movements for independence and democracy around the world, from the French Revolution to the struggles for liberation in Latin America and beyond. The Founding Fathers, despite their flaws and contradictions, set about creating a new government, one based on the principles they had fought for. The Constitution, with its systems of checks and balances, was a groundbreaking document that has served as a model for democracies around the world. The American Revolution left a lasting legacy, not just in the United States, but around the world. It showed that ordinary people could rise up against oppression and achieve extraordinary things. It also established the United States as a champion of liberty and democracy, a role it continues to play today, albeit imperfectly. The ideas of the American Revolution continue to resonate today, as people around the world struggle for freedom, equality, and self-determination. The American Revolution reminds us that the fight for liberty is never truly over, and that it requires constant vigilance and engagement. The spirit of 76 lives on, and so does the tea, thankfully. The American Revolution was a complex and multifaceted event, filled with both inspiring moments and tragic consequences. It was a time of great upheaval and change, but it also laid the foundation for a new nation, one dedicated to the principles of liberty, equality, and self-government. As we reflect on this pivotal period in history, let us remember the courage and sacrifice of those who fought for American independence. Let us remember the ideas that they fought for, ideas that continue to inspire and challenge us today. And finally, let us never forget the importance of a good cup of tea. After all, it was a shared love of tea that ultimately brought the colonists and the British together. Well, sort of. Want to learn more about the American Revolution? Check out www.historyrats.com for a wealth of information, including articles, videos, interactive maps, and a vibrant online community. Join the conversation and share your passion for history. The American Revolution was a messy, chaotic, and ultimately triumphant struggle for freedom. It's a story that continues to fascinate and inspire us today. So the next time you see an American flag waving proudly, remember the colonists who dared to dream of a better future. Remember the battles fought, the sacrifices made, and the principles that guided them. And remember, history isn't just a collection of dates and facts. It's a living, breathing story that continues to shape our world. Until next time, be good to each other. P.S. If you're ever in Boston, be sure to visit the Boston Tea Party Ships and Museum. It's a great way to experience history firsthand and learn more about this pivotal event. Just try not to fall into the harbor while reenacting the tea dumping. It's not as fun as it looks.